Hey guys, tonight we're slipping out of our human skin, quite literally, and waking up to a whole new reality, covered in fur, wagging a tail, and completely at the mercy of belly rubs and peanut butter treats. You open your eyes, and suddenly you're in a backyard that smells like wet grass, barbecue smoke, and something suspiciously like feet. Your ears twitch on their own, and your vision is a little fuzzy, except when it comes to spotting the squirrel on the fence 40 feet away. Welcome to life as a dog. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. And hey, drop your location and local time in the comments. I love seeing where everyone's listening from. Now, dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. You come to under a bright morning sun. The first thing you notice, your nose is doing things it never used to do. It's practically vibrating with information. The grass smells electric. The air smells like roasted chicken from 3 blocks away. And somewhere nearby, someone didn't clean up after themselves. Disgusting. Wow, you could sniff it all day. You try to sit up, but your hands aren't hands, they're paws, covered in golden fur. Your tail thumps against the deck. Tail? Yep. Full wagging privileges included. You stare at your front legs, flex them like a confused baby goat, and try to bark. It's awkward, more like a hiccup, but it works. You get up on 4 legs and stumble across a sun-warmed patch of patio. A sliding glass door reflects your new body. You've got soft, golden fur, floppy ears, and a face that people probably describe as a very good boy. You blink. Your reflection blinks back. It's you, but not you. You glance toward the door. A human approaches. A man in his 30s wearing a robe and socks with cartoon bacon on them. He opens the door and grins. There's my sunshine. You ready to poop where you're not supposed to again today? Great. You've been adopted by someone who talks to his dog like it's a roommate. He's holding a mug that says "Number 1 Dog Dad." He scratches behind your ears, and wow, you melt. You collapse into a happy puddle of golden fur because apparently ear scratches are the emotional equivalent of a spa day mixed with a TED Talk on your inherent worth. This man, your human, has no idea you used to be a person. Or maybe still are, deep down, under all this fluff. He's just pleased you're wagging your tail like you've been doing it your whole life. You take your first few steps inside. The kitchen smells like bacon grease, peanut butter, and burnt toast. He's clearly not a professional chef. There's a dog bowl on the floor. Engraved on the side, Biscuit. Is that your name now? You stare at it. Biscuit, eat your breakfast, the human calls. Okay, that confirms it. You are Biscuit now. You sniff the food. It's interesting. Dry, sure, but with some beefy overtones. You try it. Honestly, not terrible. Way better than those chia seed smoothies you forced down when you were human. You explore your surroundings. Hardwood floors equals slippery. The couch feels definitely off limits, but suspiciously covered in fur. The TV equals blasting some true crime show. You tilt your head. Why are humans so obsessed with murder podcasts while doing laundry? Outside the window, a small bird flits past. Your instincts fire like a missile lock. You nearly slam your face into the glass trying to chase it. It feels ridiculous, and yet thrilling. Historians still argue whether early domesticated dogs were first valued for protection, companionship, or their ability to carry messages during wartime. But one thing's for sure, whatever reason humans started loving dogs, it's still going strong. You curl up on a sunny rug and start to process this bizarre new reality. You remember fragments, a job, a phone, a bad boss named Craig. But it's all fading fast, like trying to recall a dream mid-yawn. And in its place, this fuzzy tail wagging now. You're not fighting traffic or checking email, you're sniffing dust bunnies under the couch. From outside comes a faint rustling. A squirrel? No, just the wind. Still, your ears twitch, your hackles raise slightly. Alertness floods your body like espresso. Dogs, after all, have survived centuries as hunters, guards, and companions to emperors and outlaws alike. Fun fact: the ancient Chinese emperor Ling Tai reportedly had over 100 palace dogs, each with its own servant. You're not sure you want that kind of responsibility, or that many tiny sweaters. The doorbell rings. You lose your mind. Bark, 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 bark. You don't know why you are barking, but it feels correct, like your soul has waited its whole life for this moment. Your human chuckles. Relax, Biscuit. It's just the UPS guy. We've talked about this. He hasn't talked. He's monologued. To you. A lot. You seem to be his emotional support dog, therapist, and unpaid stand-up audience all in one. Last night, he cried during a rom-com and asked if you believe in love at first sight. You licked his face. It worked. You feel warm, tired. You curl up in a tight donut shape and sigh. It's not a bad life, all things considered, except for that squirrel you know is watching you from the fence line, and plotting. The sun shifts across the hardwood as you doze, stretching your legs in a puddle of light. But before you can drift back into your dreams, probably about chasing rabbits made of cheese, your human calls out from the kitchen with the same enthusiasm as a game show host on too much caffeine. Biscuit! Walkies? That word? Walkies. It hits your dog brain like a lightning bolt. Your ears perk, tail thwacking the floor at supersonic speeds. You leap up, paws scrambling for traction. You don't know what socks are anymore, but they make an excellent slip hazard. Your human's already holding a leash. A red one, frayed at the edges, clearly chewed by someone in a moment of rage or boredom. Possibly both. You sit obediently, tail sweeping the floor like a mop possessed. He clips the leash to your collar with a dramatic flourish. Let's go be citizens, buddy. You don't know what that means, but it sounds important. So you charge out the door with the vigor of a dog who has forgotten he doesn't actually know where the sidewalk ends. Outside, the smells are overwhelming. Someone's grilling 2 houses over. Someone else forgot to bring their garbage in. Somewhere, a cat just pooped. You know this. You know all of this. Your paws pad along the pavement, soft but purposeful. You sniff every post, pole, tree root, and tire like you're conducting a forensic investigation. This is your neighborhood now, and your job, apparently, is to inspect every square inch with the dedication of a sniffer dog at an airport, but with more drool. Then you arrive. The park. Or, as you now know it, the arena. It's enclosed with a low fence, scattered with benches, a few bored pigeons, and dozens of dogs, all off-leash and unleashed in spirit. You step in, leash unclipped, and suddenly the atmosphere changes. Every head turns. A pack of hounds sizes you up like you just walked into a Western saloon. Somewhere in the distance, a chihuahua growls, and then comes the sniffing. You're flanked by a schnauzer with a Napoleon complex and a basset hound who smells like wet pancakes. They give you the full olfactory exam. Back end first, because that's the rule here. Dogs don't do handshakes. You try not to flinch. A golden doodle prances over, clearly the queen bee of the park. She circles you, nose twitching. New guy? Her stance says. We'll see. You play it cool. Wag, sniff, circle, wag again. Congratulations. You've survived your first canine interrogation. Now, the real games begin. Somewhere near the picnic table, a pack is engaged in what looks like organized fetch. There's a border collie running drills like a soccer coach. A pug attempts to join but gets distracted by a passing butterfly and faceplants into the grass. You join a game of chase, darting between tails and noses and fur. Your legs stretch long and strong beneath you. You are speed. You are thunder. You are splash. You didn't see the muddy hole near the water fountain. Now, you're covered in park soup sludge, looking like a Jackson Pollock painting. Your human sighs from the bench. Really, Biscuit? You were clean for 14 minutes. Somewhere deep inside your golden retriever chest, you feel the ghost of your past human self cringe in embarrassment. But the dog part of you? Loving it. Historically, dogs have been more than pets. They've been partners. Roman soldiers marched with war dogs armored in spiked collars. In ancient Mesopotamia, dogs were buried with their owners, considered loyal enough to accompany souls into the afterlife. Quirkier fact? In the 1800s, the city of Paris issued official dog licenses for pets to ride on public transportation, including steamboats. Bet those dogs didn't have to sit in crates. You sprint through the park again, mud flying, tongue out. Then, something catches your eye. Movement. On the fence. Squirrel. He's back. The same gray-tailed menace from earlier. Sitting smugly on the post, nibbling an acorn like it's popcorn, and you're the show. You lunge. He vanishes in a flash, bushy tail mocking you as he zips along the fence like a circus acrobat. Oh, it's on. You bark furiously. The other dogs join in, a chorus of chaos. The squirrel freezes, assesses the threat, then does the most insulting thing imaginable. He flips upside down, dangles by his tiny squirrel toes, and blinks at you. Historians still argue whether the ancient Egyptians truly worshipped animals like cats and dogs, or if the reverence was more symbolic. But squirrels? Squirrels are universally known as jerks. That's not up for debate. Your human claps twice. All right, Biscuit, time to go home before you turn this into a Disney movie. You grumble bark under your breath. The squirrel watches you retreat, victorious. But this isn't over. Not by a long shot. Back on the leash, you trot beside your human, panting, muddy, and full of pride. The sun's lower now, casting golden light on everything it touches. You glance up at your human. He's smiling, sipping something from a travel mug that smells like fake vanilla and poor decisions. "Best part of my day," he says softly. "Thanks, Biscuit." You lean against his leg, not because you're needy, obviously, just strategically resting. Totally. As you walk home, the breeze in your ears and the leash jangling beside you, you realize something kind of wild. You may not remember why you're here. You may not even know if you were meant to be a dog. But in this moment, leaving paw prints on the sidewalk and wagging your tail like it's telling time, you are exactly where you're supposed to be. Back home, your human untangles the leash from your legs. Because yes, despite your best efforts, you've become a master of spaghetti knots, and gives you a once-over that says, "You look like you lost a wrestling match with a swamp." All right, Biscuit. Towels first, then couch negotiations. You take this opportunity to shake off enthusiastically, blasting a 5-foot radius with droplets of joy and filth. It's performance art, really. Your human doesn't appreciate it. He mumbles something about demons and goes off to fetch a paper towels. While he's distracted, you nose open the back door and return to the yard. Why? Because you've got business to attend to, namely, asserting your position in the local dog park hierarchy. You may be new, but today you learned something. Butt sniffing is basically political currency, and you're ready to play the game. The backyard smells different now, fresher, but also territorial. You pause by the fence and sniff the bottom slat. Yep, a neighbor dog's been here. Marked it, in fact. A bold move. The scent is sharp. Probably the pug from 2 doors down. Oh, it's on. You sniff again. This fence has stories. It's a doggy message board, full of greetings, insults, romantic overtures, and the occasional conspiracy theory. You lift your leg, respond with something firm but diplomatic, and move on. Suddenly, movement. Across the lawn, you spin and see it. A small black and white terrier glaring at you from the neighboring yard. She's got the steely stare of a battle-hardened general and a pink collar covered in rhinestones. You lock eyes. She gives a single warning bark, sharp as a gavel. You counter with a low woof and a slight head tilt. The universal dog signal for, "I'm cool unless you're not." She stares. You stare. A squirrel sneaks between you two like a nervous waiter delivering appetizers in a mafia movie. Eventually, she turns and trots off with an air of you've passed, for now. Park politics, fence diplomacy, you're learning fast. Back inside, your human throws an old towel over you and rubs with enough force to power a wind turbine. Your tail wags the entire time. Being manhandled like a wet mop has never felt so soothing. "Clean enough," he mutters, tossing the towel into a hamper. "Just don't roll in anything dead tomorrow, all right?" No promises. He flops onto the couch with a sigh that says single-parent energy and pats the cushion. "Come on up." Oh? The couch throne is open to commoners now? You scramble up without hesitation and collapse next to him, your body a puddle of fur and warmth. He absent-mindedly scratches your head while scrolling on his phone. You rest your chin on his thigh and stare at his screen. He's watching videos of other dogs doing backflips, Honestly, that golden retriever is showing off. You could totally do that if someone wasn't hogging the remote. He pauses the video. You think I should try dating again? He asks, more to the room than to you. Or is it too soon after Lindsay? You blink, slowly, meaningfully. He chuckles. Yeah, maybe not yet. You fall into a light doze as he keeps talking, not really expecting answers. This is your secret job, you realize. Emotional support. Comedic relief. Quiet companion when the night gets too heavy. Did you know that Sigmund Freud's favorite dog, Yofi, used to sit in during therapy sessions? Freud believed Jofi helped patients open up. You're not saying you're smarter than Freud's dog, but you do have better fur. In the world of humans, dogs are trusted confidants, accidental therapists, and sometimes literal lifesavers. Heck, in 1925, a dog named Balto helped deliver diphtheria serum to Nome, Alaska, saving an entire town. You're not saving a town, but you are helping a lonely man feel a little less alone. The couch is soft, the room is warm. Outside, the wind rustles the trees, and the air smells like dinner starting 3 houses away. Then, bark. You jolt upright. The terrier from earlier is back. She's barking through the fence, and this time she means business. You rush to the window, tail stiff, head high. The two of you bark through the glass in a dialogue so ancient and primal that even historians can't agree on what it means. Some believe barking is a form of alert communication evolved from wolves' howls. Others think it's a behavior developed purely in response to human domestication. Historians still argue whether barking has real semantic meaning or if it's just noise. But you know the truth. It means, this is my territory. Okay, but this corner is mine. Fine, we can share, but don't touch my stick. After a good 5 minutes of this diplomatic shouting match, your human sighs and lowers the blinds. Enough international politics for one day. You settle back on the couch with a groan and a flop. You're exhausted. You've sniffed, barked, made allies and enemies. You've navigated the complex social maze of canine society. Tomorrow, you'll try to win over the doodle. Maybe challenge the collie to a race. Possibly stage a minor coup at the water bowl. But for now, it's time to dream about chasing squirrels and rolling in forbidden patches of grass. You've had a full day. You've earned your place in this chaotic, slobbery, tail-wagging world. You're lying on your back in the sunroom. Paws twitching from a dream you no longer remember. Probably something involving endless belly rubs and a steak that apologizes before letting you eat it. The house is quiet, peaceful. Then you hear it, that rustle, that mocking chitter. The squirrel is back. You leap to your feet like a soldier hearing the call to battle. Your claws click wildly against the hardwood as you dash to the sliding door. There he is, perched on the fence like some smug, fluffy-tailed king. Cheeks stuffed with stolen acorns. Tail swishing in slow motion. He stares you down. That same one from before. You just know it. He's not just a random rodent. This guy is the squirrel, the one that's been taunting you for days now, maybe even in your past life. You bark, loud and proud. He doesn't flinch. In fact, he seems to smirk. You bark again, louder, tail stiff. It's personal now. "Hey!" Your human calls from the kitchen. "No yelling at tree rats. That's speciesist." You ignore him. This squirrel isn't just a random backyard dweller. He's a provocateur, a professional antagonist, a gray-furred agent of chaos sent to unravel your composure one twitchy little movement at a time. He's chewing something now, casually, like he's got nothing better to do than snack and break your spirit. You snort and turn away, pretending not to care. But from the corner of your eye, you see him leap, not into the trees, but onto the roof. The roof. You sprint outside through the doggy door with the speed of a canine possessed. No strategy, no plan. Just raw, undiluted squirrel rage. You skid into the yard, nose skyward. He's up there, dancing along the shingles like he's rehearsing for the Squirrel Olympics. You bark again. He chitters back, sharp and mocking. He knows you can't climb. And then you spot it. The old lawn chair, the recycling bin, the empty flower pot. A climbable staircase to vengeance. It's janky. It's unstable. It's perfect. You clamber up your improvised tower like a furry Indiana Jones, slipping, scrambling, panting with wild determination. You launch onto the shed roof with all four paws flailing. Victory. Except the squirrel's already gone. You hear him behind you, taunting chirps from a tree branch above. He's playing you, like a xylophone made of rage and defeat. Quirky fact. In 1987, a squirrel once chewed through a power line and knocked out the NASDAQ stock exchange for over an hour. That's not just mischievous. That's financial warfare. You pace the roof, tail flicking. Your mind swirls with possibilities. Is he part of a larger movement? Is this a squirrel rebellion? You remember that weird conversation the pug had at the park. Something about a nut cartel. At the time, you thought he was just obsessed with food. But now, you're not so sure. Historians still argue whether squirrels were ever domesticated in ancient times. Some claim they were sacred to certain cultures. Others insist they were always just twitchy little punks with excellent marketing. You snort, making your way back down the way you came, less gracefully this time. Your back paw knocks the flower pot clean over. It shatters. You flinch. Your human appears at the back door. What happened out here? Are you beefing with rodents again? You sit down and pant, hard, tongue out. For a while, eyes a little too wide. He narrows his eyes. You look like you just lost a turf war. Close, it's more of a cold war, one with acorns, chirps, and psychological warfare. That night, you lie awake on your dog bed, staring at the ceiling fan as it turns like the gears of destiny. You think of your enemy, small, fast, possibly bulletproof, and wonder if he dreams of you too. Outside, a branch creaks. A shadow flits across the window. You growl softly. The war isn't over. It's just begun. But in a strange way, it's fun. Having a rival, a nemesis, someone to challenge you, even if he does smell like dirt and secrets. In the distance, you hear another bark. 3 short, 1 long. A code, a warning, a cheer. You respond with your own bark. You're not alone in this. The other dogs know. The squirrel conspiracy is real, and you, Biscuit, are going to uncover the truth. Tomorrow, you'll watch. You'll listen. You'll sniff every tree, track every twig. This is bigger than just one backyard. It's global. It's interspecies. It's war. But for now, your eyelids are heavy. Your breathing slows. You curl into a warm, secure ball, tail tucked close, dreams swirling like leaves in the wind. Because even the bravest squirrel hunter needs rest. And tomorrow, you hunt again. You wake up to the sound of running water, and not the peaceful babbling brook kind. No, this is the unmistakable skin-crawling sound of the bathtub faucet. You stretch lazily, your body still tingling from squirrel-fueled dreams, only to freeze mid-yawn. A bath? Today? You just bathed in glory and mud 2 days ago. Isn't there a rule about spacing these out? Something in the Constitution, maybe? You pad cautiously into the bathroom. Sure enough, your human is in there, sleeves rolled up, humming ominously, and squirting something that smells like regret and oatmeal into the tub. He sees you. "There's my brave little swamp monster," he says with a grin that feels more like a threat. You backpedal immediately, nails clicking in a panic shuffle that echoes your betrayal. But he's faster, or rather, he's got thumbs and a plan. He picks you up mid-escape like a wiggly bag of wet noodles and deposits you into the tub. Splash! The betrayal is complete. And you were just starting to trust again. He turns on the water. It's lukewarm, which is somehow worse than hot. It's just lukewarm disappointment, soaking into your soul. You stand in the tub like a soggy statue, eyes wide, legs locked. Your tail tries to wag out of habit, but it's too weighed down with sadness and shame. Water pools around your paws. Then comes the worst part, the shampoo. It smells like lavender. Not dirt, not beef jerky, not even a faint whiff of bacon lavender. Like you're about to be served with herbal tea and existential despair. "Hang tight, buddy," your human says, scrubbing with the intensity of someone trying to erase history. You rolled in something. And I'm not convinced it wasn't a ghost. You sigh, loudly, then sneeze because the bubbles tickle your nose. You briefly consider faking a leg cramp or possibly emotional damage. Historians still argue whether ancient dogs were ever bathed regularly or if they just roamed freely, au naturel. Some Roman frescoes suggest dogs lived indoors with patrician families, and likely stank up every marble hallway. Meanwhile, fun fact, in 14th century France, nobles would perfume their dogs. Entire grooming parlors existed for pampered pooches, complete with cologne and tiny dog wigs. So, technically, you're participating in a rich historical tradition. You are not amused. As the scrubbing continues, you catch sight of yourself in the bathroom mirror. You look like a deflated teddy bear. Foam clings to your ears. One eye squints with watery indignation. You let out a huff of breath. This is how dignity dies. And just when you think it can't get worse, he brings out the hose attachment, the mini shower wand. The blast hits your chest like a fire hose in slow motion. You brace against the sides of the tub, slipping slightly, like a cartoon character in a soap opera. Your human makes cooing noises, like this is supposed to help. "Oh no, don't you even think about it," you shake. "Wob, bloosh!" Water explodes in every direction. Walls, floor, mirror, human, everything gets soaked. It's like a scene from Titanic, but less romantic and with more fur. Your human blinks, dripping. Biscuit, you absolute maniac. You smile. Not visibly, because dogs don't smile technically, but he knows. Oh, he knows. Eventually, the torment ends. He wraps you in 3 mismatched towels, rubbing until you resemble an angry burrito. You sit there, squished into a towel cocoon, glaring at the wall. "You're clean now," he says, attempting a peace offering. "Fresh start." You stare blankly into the middle distance. The final indignity is the hairdryer. He brings it out like a weapon forged in silence. The low whir begins. You hate it. You hate the warm air. You hate the noise. You hate how it fluffs your fur in embarrassing directions. But you tolerate it, because deep down, you know, if you wiggle too much, you'll just get another bath tomorrow. As he finishes blow-drying you into a cloud, you notice something odd. Despite the humiliation, the discomfort, the loss of street cred, your human looks happy, calm. Like washing, you somehow washed away his stress too. And weirdly, you feel better too. Lighter, cleaner, sure, but also reset. Like the bath wasn't just physical. Maybe this ritual means something to humans. Quirky tidbit. Some Zen Buddhist monks used to bathe dogs before meditation, believing it cleansed negative energies from both human and canine souls. You doubt they used lavender shampoo, though. Once you're dry enough to resemble a sentient marshmallow, your human lets you go. You immediately sprint in manic zigzags around the house, launching off the couch, tearing down the hallway, skidding under the dining table like a fuzzy torpedo. It's instinct. Bath-induced chaos energy. Scientists have no formal explanation for it. Historians still argue whether it's joy, relief, or pure lunacy. Finally, you collapse in a heap on the carpet, panting, eyes sparkling. You're dry, you're warm, you smell like a candle store, but most importantly, you survived. Your human flops onto the couch, exhausted. "Same time next week?" he says with a laugh. You respond the only way a proud, clean dog can. You jump onto his lap, shake just a little more, and nuzzle your damp ear against his neck. This is war, and you won this round. It's the middle of the night when your nose twitches and your brain lights up with a singular, irresistible mission. Trash. Specifically, the kitchen trash can. That white-lidded tower of mystery that hums with forbidden promise. You don't know what's in there tonight, but whatever it is, it's calling you. Like a siren song made of banana peels and stale pizza crusts. You rise from your dog bed like a stealthy ninja, claws clicking softly on the tile. Your human is snoring upstairs, oblivious. Good. That gives you time to execute Operation Garbage Raid. You've attempted this before, of course, with mixed results. You learned the hard way that stepping on the recycling bin makes it squeak, and that barking at the fridge only makes the cat next door judge you from the windowsill. But tonight, you're careful, calculated. You creep into the kitchen, lit only by the blue glow of the microwave clock. 3:12 a.m., the witching hour, or, in your case, the itching hour, because something about trash just makes your paws twitch. There it stands, the can, slightly open at the top. Someone must have forgotten to press the lid down. A rookie mistake. You inch closer. Sniff. Yes. Confirmed. Pizza crusts, wilted lettuce, and... is that bacon grease on a paper towel? Jackpot. You brace yourself, then pounce. The can tips. The lid flips. Trash explodes like confetti at a rock concert. You dive in, snout first, tail wagging like a blender on high speed. You are in heaven. Half a grilled cheese, a tissue soaked with ketchup, an entire Q-tip. You have no idea what it's for, but it smells like the inside of a sock drawer from the 1800s, and you are here for it. Historians still argue whether early domestic dogs scavenged from human trash as a survival strategy, or if humans actually encouraged it. One thing's clear. Garbage has been a shared resource between our species for millennia. Fun fact: in ancient Rome, food scraps were often left outside for stray dogs, creating the first unofficial neighborhood dog buffets. Your feast continues, unchallenged. You're in a blissful trance of crunchy eggshells and mysterious globs when, click, the hallway light turns on. You freeze, mid-sniff. An empty yogurt cup stuck to your nose like a plastic trophy of shame. Your human stands in the doorway, hair wild, eyes half open, holding a water glass and wearing one sock. He surveys the disaster scene like a weary detective at a particularly stupid crime. "Biscuit," he says. No exclamation, no tone. Just flat disappointment, like a middle school teacher discovering graffiti on the whiteboard. You thump your tail. Slowly. Maybe he'll think this is charming. Cute. Instagram-worthy. He rubs his eyes. Is that dental floss in your mouth? You drop it. You're ushered outside with a grunt and a pair of slippered feet behind you. The door clicks shut. You are banished. But as you sit on the patio in the cool night and air, you have no regrets. Okay. 1. Maybe you shouldn't have licked the inside of the aluminum foil. Your tongue feels like it fought a hedgehog. Still, you're full. You're weirdly proud. And the stars look kind of nice tonight. Across the yard, something rustles in the bushes. You squint. Oh no. It's him, the squirrel, sitting there watching you from the shadows, holding a twig like a baton, like he's conducting the universe's most ridiculous symphony. He chitters once. You bark. It's instinct, instantaneous. You trip over the garden hose, loudly. Inside, the lights go back on. Nope! Your human yells from the kitchen. I just cleaned that carpet. Go to bed, Biscuit. The porch light flips off again. You grumble, curl into a ball, and sulk into your paws. This day, or night, has not gone as planned. As you lie in your backyard exile, you consider your next move. You need better timing, cleaner exits, less yogurt-related noise. Maybe you could team up with the squirrel. No. Madness. That way lies betrayal and nut hoarding. Quirky tidbit: there's a famous dog named Oscar in London who once learned to open his owner's fridge and feed himself by dragging entire rotisserie chickens out. He was eventually locked out with child-proof latches. Child-proof for a dog. You gaze up at the stars and sigh. You, too, could be Oscar. If only your paws worked the doorknob. Eventually, the back door opens again. Your human stands there in a hoodie and boxer shorts, looking about 12% more awake and 300% more resigned. He holds the door open with a sigh. You coming in, or are you planning to start a raccoon gang? You trot in, tail low, ears back. Not ashamed, exactly, just creatively misunderstood. He pats your head, tosses a new chew toy onto your bed like a consolation prize, and trudges back upstairs. You settle in, chewing softly, the taste of garbage still lingering faintly behind your molars. You smile internally. You may have been caught, but you also found half a slice of pineapple pizza. That counts as a win in the dog world. And tomorrow you try again. With better aim, less noise, and maybe a squirrel-shaped accomplice. Morning sunlight pours through the window in soft, buttery beams, warming your fur and your soul simultaneously. You stretch out like a long noodle, legs twitching, spine arching, before collapsing with a dramatic groan that makes your human chuckle from across the room. Sleep well, trash gremlin? He asks, pouring himself coffee. You blink slowly. No regrets, only dreams. The morning routine kicks off like a musical you know by heart. Coffee drips, keys jingle. Toast burns slightly. Your human is consistent in his mediocrity. You follow him everywhere, of course, like a fluffy satellite. Living room, bathroom, closet. Your devotion is complete, undying, and fueled by two things: love and the possibility of crumbs. While he showers, you take up your self-appointed post, guardian of the bathroom door. You lie there nobly, nose pressed to the floor, ears tuned to every splash. If ancient Egypt had dog tomb guards, that would have been you, or maybe you were one. Historians still argue whether some of the dog remains found in burial sites were beloved companions or ceremonial guardians. Either way, the job is in your blood. You scratch once at the door just for effect. He responds with a muffled, "Not yet, biscuit." Ah, routine. Comforting, predictable. Until suddenly, it's not. Because this morning something unusual happens. Your human pulls out a suitcase. Not the gym bag, not the backpack, not even the weekend duffel. This is the suitcase, the big wheeled, "please don't leave me for 5 years" suitcase. Your eyes narrow, your tail goes still. The suitcase is never a good sign. He starts packing shirts, shoes, that one weird blazer he only wears when he's trying to impress people at conferences. You sit directly in his path, making it impossible to ignore you. He sidesteps. Cold. You escalate. Whining, wagging, strategic flopping, nothing. Then he looks at you and says the most dreaded sentence in the history of canine heartbreak. You're staying with Grandma for a few days. No, 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 no. You love Grandma, but Grandma has rules. Grandma does not allow couch naps, or post-dinner floor snacks, or squirrel chasing through the garden gnome section. She gives you that dry food with joint support pellets that taste like sadness. You give him the eyes. You know the ones. Moist, wide, shimmering with betrayal. But he's immune today. "I'll be back on Monday," he says, ruffling your ears. Monday? That's at least 9 dog years away. While he loads the car, you sulk dramatically on the welcome mat. You sigh. loudly, frequently. Maybe if he hears the depth of your suffering, he'll cancel the trip. Maybe he'll abandon his presentation and take you to a beach instead, where you'll chase frisbees and make questionable decisions involving dead fish. He does not. The car door opens. The leash comes out. You follow, resigned. At Grandma's house, everything smells like lavender and mystery. She greets you like royalty, high-pitched voice, hugs, that weird cheek pinch thing, but you know the truth. This is a gilded cage. She offers you a treat. It's shaped like a fish and tastes like carpet. You eat it anyway. Pride has no place here. One fun fact to distract you from your despair. In ancient China, the royal family's Pekingese dogs were so revered they had their own servants. Like full-time staff. Your human won't even let you eat off his plate. Grandma shows you your sleeping mat, a bath mat in the laundry room. A scandal. As the hours pass, you try to adjust. You inspect her garden. You bark at a suspicious-looking plastic owl. You roll in something that used to be a tomato. You nap briefly, but everything smells wrong. No pizza. No sock drawer. No familiar human farts. Then comes your lowest moment, bath time. She fills the tub, she coos. You resist like a possessed spaghetti noodle. You throw your weight backward. You whimper. She lifts you in like a power lifter doing their 1-rep max. The water is warm. The shampoo smells like oatmeal. And you consider simply giving up on everything. Historians still argue whether dogs originally liked water or merely tolerated it to avoid being labeled bad dogs. The debate rages on. You vote tolerated. Post-bath, you do the full-body shake that sprays droplets like confetti across the mirror. She gasps. You grin. That night, you lie on your scratchy mat and stare at the ceiling. You dream of your real bed, your real human, your real, glorious trash. Then, around midnight, you hear it. A click, a creak. You trot down the hallway and peek through the window. Headlights. Could it be? The door opens. It's him. Your tail activates like a jet engine. You zoom down the hall, pause, skidding across the tile, and launch yourself into his arms before he's even fully inside. You yelp, you wiggle, you do the full-body twisty thing that makes your spine resemble a pretzel. I missed you too, bud, he whispers, ruffling your damp ears. You whimper into his hoodie. Everything is right again. And Grandma? She rolls her eyes but smiles. Next time, she says, you're both staying with me. You and your human look at each other. Neither of you responds. You both know that will absolutely not happen. Later that night, back in your own bed, surrounded by familiar smells and faint pizza ghosts, you drift off with a belly full of joy and half a beef stick. Sure, you got shampooed. Sure, you were exiled. But in the end, your human came back. And that makes this weird, noisy world feel like home again. It's a lazy afternoon, the kind where sunbeams spill across the floor like golden puddles, and you lie directly in the middle of one, belly up, tongue flopped sideways. The air hums softly with the distant sound of lawnmowers and a neighbor's wind chime. Everything is still, peaceful. Until the mailman arrives. You hear the telltale clack of the mailbox and freeze. Every fur on your body stands at full alert. You spring up, with all the grace of a pancake, flipping itself and rush to the front window, nails clicking dramatically against the wood floor. There he is, wearing his usual navy blue uniform, sunglasses on, strutting up to your territory like he owns the sidewalk. The audacity. You erupt into a fury of barks so intense it shakes the curtains. The mailman doesn't flinch. He merely raises an eyebrow. Then, the unthinkable happens. He winks. You stop barking. He just winked at you. What kind of psychological warfare is this? You tilt your head. He tilts his sunglasses down just a little and mouths, "I see you." You bolt to the back door, barking all the way, circle around through the kitchen, then return to the front. He's already moving on, whistling a jaunty tune, as if he didn't just start an international incident. You slump to the floor, panting. This isn't just a feud anymore. This is war. The next few days become a tactical ballet. You learn his schedule. He usually arrives between 1:07 and 1:14 p.m. You wait. You stalk. You crouch behind the couch like a jungle predator. Day after day, he struts up to your gate and, unfazed, delivers mail with the confidence of a man protected by federal law. But you're watching. One day, your human forgets to lock the screen door. It's fate. You see the mailman's silhouette appear at the front step. He opens the mailbox. You hold your breath. He glances toward the window, your window, and just as he's about to turn away, you pounce. The door flies open. You charge into the sunlight like a fur-covered missile, barking with the intensity of 1,000 betrayed ancestors. The mailman freezes. This is it. This is the final showdown. But instead of running, he kneels. You skid to a stop, paws scraping the sidewalk. He reaches into his satchel. You growl. He pulls something out. It's a treat, a biscuit, bacon-flavored. He holds it out, palm up. You stare at it. You stare at him. You sniff. "Truce," he says. You sit. He sets the biscuit gently on the ground and backs away, slowly, like a bomb technician. You sniff again. It smells honest. You take it. It is delicious. Later that night, you lie beside your human, tail thumping lazily against the floor. He scratches behind your ears and mutters, "You've been oddly quiet this week." You don't tell him about the silent understanding forged on the battlefield. You don't tell him that you and the mailman are now allies, because that's not how legends are made. You simply close your eyes, content, as the world settles around you like a blanket. Sometimes, even the fiercest warriors lay down their swords for bacon. The thing about being a dog is, your nose is basically your Google, except way more advanced. You don't just smell things, you read them. Entire autobiographies encoded in scent. And today, you're reading the part. Your human clips on your leash with a cheery, "Let's go for a walk," as if you haven't been telepathically suggesting it since 6 a.m. with your most desperate stares. The leash snaps on with a satisfying click. The front door creaks open. Sunlight floods your eyes. Grass, dirt, dew, worms, and old gum wrappers sing a chorus of invitation. You're off. The moment your paws hit the sidewalk, you're already absorbing data. Here lies a trail where a squirrel passed exactly 42 minutes ago. That spot of grass? definitely had a cat laying on it. Probably orange. Possibly angry. You tug your human to the left. No, not that tree. This tree. Yes, perfect. A noble monument. You lift your leg with exaggerated ceremony and leave your mark. Future generations will read this and know you were here, and you were magnificent. The park comes into view, and with it, your nose practically explodes. Every inch of ground is a novel. Footprints, forgotten fries, a dropped pacifier, and, somewhere off in the distance, a hot dog cart. You sniff the air like a trained sommelier. Yep, ketchup, yellow mustard, no onions. Historians still argue whether early humans domesticated dogs because of our sense of smell, or whether we simply followed them around until they gave up and let us move in. Either way, it's a fact. Your nose could locate a buried dinosaur bone faster than any archaeologist. A golden retriever bounds into your peripheral vision. You both pause, eyes locking. You exchange sniffs in the air, the canine equivalent of LinkedIn profiles. Name, age, health status, diet, emotional trauma done in 2 seconds. He seems cool. You both circle, sniff, approve, and then, in a flash, you're sprinting side by side across the grass like furry Olympians. You chase a tennis ball that no one actually threw. You trip in a divot. He belly flops into a puddle. It's pure chaos, pure bliss. Meanwhile, your human is chatting with the retriever's human. Classic small talk. But you're trading life stories with your new best friend through tail wags and goofy grins. Eventually, you collapse beneath a tree, tongues lolling, chests heaving. Your human coaxes you back with a whistle, and you trot over, tail swishing with satisfaction. On the way home, you stop to sniff an especially suspicious patch of grass. Someone's been here recently. Another dog? A raccoon? A time-traveling otter? Possibly all three. The world is a tapestry, and your nose is the needle. You stitch together stories from smell alone. Fragments of lives, moments of mischief, hints of mystery. Later that evening, you dream. You dream of the park and its invisible highways, of nose-to-nose diplomacy, and the fragrant memories of sandwich crusts left behind. Because for you, the world isn't just seen or heard, it's inhaled. Every breath a paragraph, every whiff a chapter. And tomorrow you'll sniff it all over again. You awaken to the telltale click of the front door. Sunlight slices through the curtains. You stretch long and low. Front paws out, back arched, tail high. A full-body yoga move you invented, and every human pretends to copy but never quite gets right. Then, the smell hits you. Fresh air. Distant food, car tires rolling, grass, heat, squirrels. A breeze carrying a news from 3 blocks away. Your human's going somewhere. You don't like that. You trot to the doorway, staring with wide, hopeful eyes. Please take me. Please, please. I'll be good. I won't bark at that one jogger again. Probably. Not this time, buddy, they say gently, squeezing through the door like a traitor. And just like that, you're alone. Again. The apartment is suddenly too quiet. You wander into the living room and flop dramatically onto the rug, sighing like a Victorian ghost. But after a few moments of melodrama, your inner explorer kicks in. Alone time is snoop time. You begin your rounds. First, the kitchen trash can, a treasure chest of wonder, sealed with an infuriating lid. You nudge it. Nothing. You paw at it. Nothing. You plot. Maybe if you gain enough speed from the hallway and tackle it, crash! The lid flips. Triumph. You dive into yesterday's salad dressing and a shredded receipt like an archaeologist unearthing sacred scrolls. Historians believe early dogs rooted through prehistoric waste piles long before joining hunting parties, which means dumpster diving is practically a birthright. You are simply honoring your ancestors. After cleaning your face with 6 confident licks, you venture to the bedroom. Now, you know better than to jump on the bed. But when you're alone, the rule bend. Up you go. Pillow mountain, blanket ocean. You burrow deep, twisting into the warmest spot where your human's scent lingers. It's comforting, homey, a little sweaty. And then, like a crime scene investigator, you patrol the entire perimeter. The socks? Sniffed. The laundry basket? Investigated. The nightstand? Licked. You find their favorite shoe, the one they always wear, and bring it to the couch. Not to chew, just to hold. Because it smells like them. Because it's part of them. Because you're lonely, but not abandoned. You curl around the shoe like a dragon with treasure. Outside, the day unfolds without you. Birds gossip. Leaves flutter. Somewhere, a mail truck rattles by, and that is an emergency. You sprint to the window and growl low, a deep territorial rumble. Mailman, beware. You are always watching, always judging. But he escapes again. Suspicious. Eventually, you settle again, finding the perfect sunbeam to nap in. And in that warmth, you dream of your human returning, of the jingling keys, the creak of the door, the burst of joy. They'll be back. They always come back, even if they forget the bacon sometimes. Quirky historians love to debate whether dogs can understand time the way humans do, whether we measure minutes or merely notice patterns. But you don't count the hours. You feel them, like music. And even though the world keeps moving outside, your whole heart is on pause, waiting for the moment that key turns again. Because no matter what you tore up, what you licked, what you accidentally peed on, the bath mat probably, your reunion will be epic. You'll greet them like they were lost at sea for a decade. You'll leap, wiggle, howl, and spin. Their scent will fill the room again. The pack will be whole, and dinner might just follow. The door creaks open. You don't wait for permission. You explode down the hallway like a fur-covered comet, nails clicking like castanets on the floor, tail wagging so violently it could power a small windmill. You're barking before you even see them. It's not noise, it's music, joy, worship. And there they are. You're human, alive, whole, smelling like betrayal? You pause and sniff. Coffee, outside air, other dogs. The nerve. Still, you forgive them before they even close the door. They kneel, arms wide, and you launch. Face kisses, whimpers, happy sneezes. You try to climb inside their jacket just to be closer. And even though they say, "Okay, okay," too much, they don't mean it. Not really. You circle them as they shed their day. Keys clink in a bowl. Shoes come off. You try to grab one, just for comfort, but they give you the look. You back off, dramatically. Eventually, they settle on the couch, and you do what all wise canines do. You claim their lap. Or if you're too big for laps, you press every heavy inch of yourself against their leg like an anchor. It's your ritual. Historians still argue whether ancient humans domesticated dogs, or if dogs domesticated humans. After all, who gives the belly rubs? Who prepares the meals? Who gets the full-body massages every time they whine? You do, obviously. And tonight is special. Your human sighs and mutters something about long day and barely survived. You nuzzle closer, licking the air just under their ear. It's your way of saying, "I would have fought whatever tried to eat you." Then comes the real prize, dinner. They reach for the bag of kibble. You do a little dance. Your paws prance. Your tail circles like a ceiling fan. You're so excited you forget to sit. "Sit," they command. You freeze, then slowly lower into position like a folding chair that hasn't been used in years. Good dog. They pour. The food clinks into the bowl like coins into a wishing fountain. The smell is mid. But it's yours. And you dive in. Crunch, crunch, crunch. You eat like it's a race, even though there's no one else here. Old habits die hard. Scholars say wolves used to compete over carcasses in the wild. Maybe that's where your food frenzy comes from. Or maybe you just don't trust the cat not to sneak a pawful. You don't even have a cat. But still. Later, while your human eats their own dinner, some complicated mess that smells way better than your kibble, you sit beside them, watching, silently judging. Your eyes plead. One pea, one crumb. You'd settle for a rejected corner of crust. They break. They always break. You get a sliver of chicken. You chew like it's the last food on earth, eyes wide, tail gently thumping the floor in Morse code. I love you more than life. After dinner, it's couch time. You climb up like a prince returning to his throne. Your human pats your side, and you collapse like a deflated balloon. The TV glows, murmuring nonsense. You don't care about the show. You care about the rhythm of their hand on your back. Slow strokes, gentle scratches. You melt into the cushion, ears flicking with each whisper of touch. And then something sacred happens. They laugh, just once. A real laugh. It's your favorite sound in the world. Because deep down, you know your job isn't just chasing squirrels or guarding the house. Your job is this: being here. Being their shadow, their sidekick, their quiet comfort on loud days. You don't have words. You don't need them. Everything you need to say is in your eyes, your breath, your heartbeat pressed against their leg. You were waiting all day for this. And now, the world is perfect again. Later that night, long after the last dish has been rinsed and the screens have gone dim, you hear it. The creak of the bathroom door, the shuffle of pajama-clad feet, the soft sigh as your human climbs into bed. It's your cue. Like clockwork, you stretch, yawn big enough to swallow the moon, and make your slow, deliberate journey down the hallway. This is your favorite part. You leap onto the bed with the practiced grace of a circus acrobat, assuming you're allowed up there. You are, mostly, unless they've just changed the sheets. You do your nightly circle dance, nose-to-tail pirouettes, picking the exact right spot to nestle. The spot that somehow manages to take up the maximum amount of space while still being just inconvenient enough to make them move over. Victory. They pull the blanket over you both, mumbling, "You're so spoiled." But the smile in their voice says otherwise. You press your nose to their arm, then sigh, a long, content exhale that says, "The pack is safe." Historians still argue whether dogs sleep better beside humans, or if it's humans who sleep better beside dogs. Some ancient texts even suggest early people used dogs as living heaters during cold nights, curled up in caves or under thick wool blankets. You're pretty sure your human is reaping those same benefits right now. Outside, the world goes on. Distant cars hum. Trees rustle. A lone owl hoots like it's auditioning for a haunted house. But none of that matters in here. This bed, this is your fortress, your den, and your human, they're your heartbeat. But then, the dream begins. It starts with a twitch, just a tiny flick of your paw, then another. Suddenly, you're not in bed anymore. You're in the wild, the dream wild, where the grass grows high and golden, and the wind carries the scent of something thrilling. You're chasing something. A rabbit, a memory. It doesn't matter. You're fast. Your liquid muscle and flashing teeth. You leap over logs, sprint through puddles, ears back, heart hammering. In this world, your legs never tire. You're young again, maybe even younger than you've ever been. No arthritis, no aching hips, just boundless power and instinct. And then, thud. Your leg jerks in real life, kicking softly against your human's side. They murmur in their sleep. You calm. But inside the dream, you're still running. You pass ruins, crumbled columns swallowed by vines. A dog-shaped statue watches you from the shadows. You somehow know it's a temple to you. Once upon a time, ancient civilizations revered your kind. In Egypt, dogs were protectors of the afterlife. In Mesopotamia, they guarded homes and even healed wounds. Legends claimed a dog's lick could soothe sickness. In your dream, that legacy lives on. You are divine, worship, fed only the choicest scraps of roasted lamb. A squirrel darts by. Even in dreams, they taunt you. You chase, you soar. But even dreams fade. Your body stills. Your breathing slows. A twitchy paw settles back onto the comforter. You snuggle deeper into the blanket cave, pressed against the warm curve of your human's back. Their breath is steady, soft. Somewhere deep in your sleepy brain, you know you're safe. You're home. Just before true sleep takes you again, a weird thought floats up. Why do humans spin around once in bed? Is that a thing they copied from dogs? You let it go. You're too tired to investigate. But here's a fringe theory for you. Some scholars claim dogs can see ghosts. You've never met one, but you have barked at corners where nothing visible moved. Maybe it's not nothing. Maybe it's history whispering. Maybe it's some ancient pup saying, "Good job, kid, you've got it made." In that last sleepy flicker of thought, you dream not of rabbits or temples, but of you and your human, side by side, walking into the sunset. No leash, no destination, just together. Morning doesn't arrive with a blaring trumpet or the crash of cymbals. It comes quietly, through slivers of light sneaking past the curtains, the hum of a heater, the chirp of that one overly enthusiastic bird who thinks 5:30 a.m. is a party. You wake slowly, in stages. First, the ears. One ear twitches toward a rustle outside. Then the nose catches a whiff. Coffee? Toast? No. Bacon. Definitely bacon. You stretch in a full body arc, paws outstretched, spine cracking like bubble wrap. And you are ready. By the time your human's feet touch the floor, you're already halfway to the kitchen. The morning routine is its own kind of sacred. First, you sit exactly where you know you're in the way. Bonus points if they trip over you while holding something hot. You give them your best, "What? This is a public walkway, look." They grumble, but not seriously. Breakfast appears. It's the same as yesterday, and the day before, and the day before that. Dry kibble, maybe a splash of wet food if the stars have aligned. But you don't complain. In fact, you eat like it's your first meal since the fall of Rome. Speaking of which, did you know ancient Romans kept dogs as status symbols? They even had mosaic art of dogs with the words "Cave Canem," "Beware of dog," on their front steps. Imagine how cool that would be. Your face, immortalized in tile, maybe squinting at a pigeon. As you finish your breakfast, you sit patiently by the table, watching your human nibble on toast. One bite for them, no bites for you. Time to initiate the stare. You know the one. Intense, silent, equal parts devotion and dramatic guilt trip. You tilt your head just a little. Maybe a soft whine. Oh, the power of restraint. That final crumb, it's yours. You're pretty sure your ancestors had to fight wolves for scraps. You just have to look mildly pathetic. Evolution. Nailed it. After breakfast, it's leash time. Now, this part is sacred. The ritual begins with the jingle. That unmistakable metallic sound that sparks joy and chaos in equal measure. You're suddenly full of adrenaline, dancing like your feet are on hot coals. Your tail becomes a weapon of mass enthusiasm. The leash clips on, the door swings open, and there it is, the outside world. Grass soaked with morning dew, air crisp, thick with smells you can't even describe. Every scent is a headline. That patch of grass? Some neighbor's schnauzer passed through. That fire hydrant? A local gossip column. That tree stump? History. As you lead your human along the sidewalk, yes, you lead, don't let them tell it any other way, you do your rounds. Sniff, mark, trot. Sniff, mark, repeat. It's not just a walk. It's politics. It's diplomacy. It's your name in cursive on every corner of the neighborhood. Then, the Holy Grail, the dog park. The gates open like a medieval fortress. and in you charge. Your people are here. A beagle with conspiracy theorist eyes. A golden retriever who thinks every ball is a miracle. A chihuahua who rules the whole park with Napoleonic fury. You join them, barking your version of "What's up?" and diving into the fray. Playtime has no rules. One moment, you're the chaser. The next, the chased. There are sticks to steal, ears to nibble, and yes, butts to sniff. It's a social ritual. Awkward for humans, normal for dogs. Here's a fringe tidbit for your sleepy brain. Some scholars believe dogs invented games long before humans had structured sport. A stick toss is just prehistoric baseball. Tug of war, early team building. Wrestle and run, basically MMA. You catch a stick mid-air and bask in the applause of your imaginary audience. In your mind, you're an Olympian, a gladiator, a legend. You slow down eventually. You always do. The others are still romping, but you find your way back to your human. Sit by their feet. Let the sun warm your back. Let your tail settle in slow rhythm. You look up at them. They smile, and you think, yeah, this is the life. Back home, your paws are muddy, your nose is damp, and your tail wags like it's still at the park. But the moment that front door swings open, you hesitate. A small internal battle begins. The floor is clean. You are not. You glance up at your human. You could wait for a towel, but you could also launch yourself full speed into the living room and leave a trail like a muddy Jackson Pollock painting. The temptation is real, but alas, you're a good dog today. You pause. You endure the foot wipe. Maybe a quick rub down with the ugly towel, the one they keep just for you. You hate it, but you tolerate it. Because deep down, you know you rule this house. Kings have crowns. You have the ugly towel. Dry and moderately less feral, you make your rounds. You check each room as if inspecting your kingdom. Bathroom, clear. Bedroom, unmade, good. Kitchen, still smells like bacon. Living room, the throne. You leap onto the couch, spin 3 times, a move inherited from your wild ancestors flattening grass for sleep, and plop down with a dramatic sigh. Now, the real magic begins. Nap number 2. This nap is different. The morning one was more of a warm-up. This one, it's deep, ancient, the kind of sleep dogs have been perfecting since the Paleolithic period. Fun fact, archaeologists found a 12,000-year-old grave where a dog was buried alongside its human. That's loyalty carved in stone. As you drift, your ears still twitch toward every sound. A door closing 2 houses away. A cat walking across the fence. A squirrel daring to exist. Dreams begin to roll in. At first, they're simple. Running through fields, chasing butterflies, barking at shadows. But then, suddenly, you're in ancient Egypt. Yep, the whole Nile, pyramids, and golden collars thing. You're a royal temple dog now, lounging beside Pharaoh. You wear a gemstone-studded collar. You're fed grapes. Historians still argue whether dogs were worshipped alongside cats in Egyptian society, but in this dream, you're basically divine. Then, scene shift, you're a war dog in Rome, clad in leather armor, charging into battle with Julius Caesar. You're terrifying. Your bark echoes through history. Then again, another shift. You're in space, floating in a tiny dog-sized pod, just like Laika, the first dog in orbit. Except you're not scared. You're weightless and noble, a four-legged astronaut sailing through stars. You twitch in your sleep. A soft growl, a tiny yip. Your legs move like you're running across the moon. Your human watches from across the room and smiles. Maybe they take a photo. Maybe they whisper your name. You don't hear it. You're busy wrestling an alien in zero gravity. Eventually, the nap winds down. Your breathing evens. The dreams fade. You open one eye, then the other. The sun has shifted. The light is different. It's the quiet hour. The pause before dinner. The house has that serene glow where everything is soft and nothing is urgent. You slide off the couch and stretch again, this time slower, luxurious, like a yoga master who's just mastered downward dog appropriately. You wander into the hallway and spot your reflection in the mirror. You stare. Is that you? You tilt your head. You sit. You raise a paw. The dog in the mirror copies everything. You boop the glass gently with your nose. Betrayal. It smells like fingerprints and Windex. There's a theory that dogs don't recognize themselves in mirrors the way some animals do. Historians still debate whether that's about intelligence, self-awareness, or just not giving a sniff about reflections. You decide it's the latter. After all, there's no bacon in that mirror. Satisfied, you trot into the kitchen and sit by the fridge. It's time to begin the ritual of dinner anticipation. This involves a lot of sighing, maybe circling, perhaps standing unnaturally close to your human while they chop things. If you're lucky, a rogue piece of carrot will fall, or chicken, or something unidentifiable but heavenly. You wait with the patience of 1,000 lifetimes. Eventually, the food lands in your bowl with a perfect clink. You eat, you savor, and just like that, you're full again. Belly round, tail slow, eyes heavy. You pad back toward the couch. It's been a full day, not heroic in the human sense. You didn't save a city or invent anything, but in the dog world, you explored, you protected, you socialized, you napped like a professional. And soon, as the sky deepens and the lights dim, you'll sleep again. This time longer, this time deeper, but not yet. First, one last patrol. A glance at the window, a sniff near the door, a bark, just one to remind the world you're here. Then finally, you return to your spot. Couch, bed, floor. It doesn't matter. Wherever you sleep, it becomes sacred. You curl into a donut. Your breathing slows. Your tail twitches once. And just like that, you fade. Night falls fully now, like a velvet curtain pulled gently across the world. Outside, the streetlights hum with that soft electric purr, and somewhere in the distance, a late bus sighs its last passengers home. Inside your quiet domain, every corner glows with the hush of bedtime rituals. Dishes done, lights dimmed, your human tucked under their blanket, face bathed in the silver light of a phone screen, for now. You, of course, are already deep into your evening routine. You found your spot, not the first spot, not the second, but the final, perfect one. It took some trial and error. A short circle on the kitchen mat, a sigh by the back door, a brief but meaningful standoff with the cat over the love seat. But in the end, the living room rug wins. It's cozy, it's familiar, and it smells exactly like you. You stretch one final time. That long, spine-bending arch that starts in your shoulders and ends in your tail. Then you circle, twice for good measure, and flop. Your ears twitch once. Silence. Even the cat has surrendered to the calm. This is the deep stillness, the sacred pause, the hour of full trust, where nothing needs to be guarded and nothing must be chased, not even shadows. And here, in this moment, your mind drifts. Not like earlier, where dreams were grand adventures, pyramids and space and battlefields, but gentler now, softer. You imagine a field, endless and warm, the kind that stretches beyond the horizon. Grass like feathers, air like honey, and best of all, off-leash. No collar, no commands. Just you, running. You run because you can, because you were built for it, because dogs have been running beside humans for over 15,000 years. From hunting partners to service dogs, war heroes to TV stars, we've been a team since the Ice Age. But here, you run alone, and free. You pass through memories that don't feel entirely yours, ancestral echoes maybe. A bonfire on a chilly steppe, a sled team slicing through Arctic snow, a monk's warm robe in a Himalayan monastery, where you once served as temple guardian and toast crumb vacuum. Somewhere in those layers, you recognize the sacredness of the bond. You don't need language, you don't need reason, you just know you were made to belong, to be loyal, to comfort, to chase after sticks even when they never come back. Historians still argue whether dogs domesticated humans or the other way around. But honestly, it doesn't matter. Because here you are, tonight, in this house, with this person, and the universe makes sense. Outside, a breeze stirs the leaves. Inside, you barely lift your head. You're safe. Your human stirs in bed and mumbles your name. Just a whisper, but you hear it. Your tail thumps twice against the floor. That's the magic. You can speak volumes with just a look, a wag, a sigh. You've seen them on their worst days, curled up with puffy eyes and messy hair. You stayed. You didn't need to understand the problem to know your place was beside them. And on their best days, you celebrated like it was a holiday every single time. That's the deal. That's the joy of being a dog. Even when the world is confusing, your purpose is simple. Love hard. Nap harder. Protect the ones who feed you. Chase things that move. And, above all, be present. Now, the house falls deeper into slumber. The fridge hums. The floor creaks as it cools. Your human's breathing becomes rhythmic, almost a lullaby. You let yourself go, completely this time. Your dreams are drowsier now, less wild, more warmth. Maybe you're curled beside a fireplace in a cabin, or riding shotgun on a cross-country road trip. Maybe you're just lying here, exactly as you are. You are content. You've had a full day, a full life even, and tomorrow you'll do it all again. You'll chase, you'll bark, you'll nap in weird positions and act surprised every time the doorbell rings. But for now, it's enough. It's always been enough. And as sleep wraps around you like a blanket, you feel that ancient, unbreakable truth settle deep in your chest. You are loved. So now, just let it all drift away. The muddy paws, the playful growls, the long walks and wagging tails. Let it melt into the soft hush of the night. Feel the warmth in your belly, the peace in your limbs, the quiet joy of having nothing else to do, nowhere else to be. You've done everything you needed today. You've shown up with your whole heart, whether running through grass or curling into sleepy little circles. Let your breath come slower now. Let it match the rhythm of the dark. Inhale gently and exhale, softer still. You are safe, you are warm, you are home. The world can wait. Right now, the only thing that matters is the quiet thump of your heartbeat and the soft hum of the world resting around you. Maybe your nose twitches at a fading dream. Maybe your tail gives one last lazy wag. That's okay. Let it happen. This is your time, your little pocket of calm, of stillness. And as you sink even deeper into rest, the edges of everything begin to blur. Thoughts, sounds, even your name. They float off, carried gently into the dark like feathers. There's no need to hold on to anything now. Sleep is here, and you are exactly where you're meant to be. Good night, little dog. Sweet dreams.